Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Welcome everybody, it's time for the final tune-up ahead of Season 22 for the Apex Online Racing. It is the Brazil 100% preseason race here at Interlagos. As welcome you along, I am Benikage with you this evening for this preseason race as we get ready for the kind of last dance before the season kicks off next weekend in the F1 leagues. Absolutely wonderful to have you along. Hope you have a very enjoyable time. Hope the action is as good as it was in sprint qualifying. It was a really fantastic sprint qualifying race that saw Fizimon start in 13th. He's actually been promoted to 5th. It'll be Karnaku on pole, mind you. He is the pole winner. He started on pole. He stayed in 1st. Balak Sr. is going to be in 2nd. Johan 3rd. Go Tudor is in 4th. Fizimon, like he said, started 15th. He is up into 5th to start on the grid. Richie will be 6th. Gaffa 7th. Jackie 8th. Darius 9th. Panayotis is going to be 10th. Zanefast 11th. Dwerk is 12th. Kimler 13th. Eagle 14th. That is how they are going to line up on the grid today, as we are ready to get underway here within 30 seconds time. As it is a 100% race today. 23 laps was sprint qualifying the other day, just yesterday. And now 71 around this famous circuit. We really look forward to a lot of action. It was really up and down fighting in that sprint qualifying race. A lot of penalties in the end. And hopefully drivers will avoid the same for this 100% race as we get ready. Why is this? There we go. The sound is on. This time we've remembered the sound. It's on. And we're going to get the track map up there for you. And we should be ready to get underway very shortly. Beg your pardon. Let me minimize what I don't need. And then that should be it. We should be good to go after that. So actually, let me axe that. I don't need that. And now we're good to go. Formation lap. As you can see, Karnaku on pole. Balak is 2nd. 3rd place is going to be Johan Tudor 4th. Fizzy 5th. Richie 6th. Gaffa 7th. Jack 8th. Darius 9th. Dimitru 10th. Zane 11th. Dwerk in 12th. Kimler in 13th. That's the recommended pit stop strategy. Tires notoriously getting torn up here. Oh, you know what? I beg your pardon. I'm like, why is it choppy? It's choppy because I forgot to knock down some of this. I beg your pardon. I meant to do this before the race, and I did not get a chance to. I came right out of casting CS actually, so I did not have a ton of time to prepare, and I up these for when I'm off stream because the PC can handle it. And with OBS open, it cannot. So beg your pardon, but that should help with the FPS improvement. There you go. Gary Neal, what's up? Dimitru incoming spin, nice. Apologies for that. Your FPS should look a lot cleaner now. It's an old rig that we'll be upgrading sometime this year. But for now, the 1070 is going to have to do it. Still, Grayson Neal, good to see you, man. Formation lap almost complete. As we prepare for this run down to turn 1. There it is. 3 lights, 4, 5, and they're underway. It's lights out here in the Brazilian Grand Prix. And the start of this race, it's going to be really the Ferrari of Darius, who gets a really good jump. He's out in P1. He's overtaken for the lead. And then it's going to be, looks like Richie, who's back in second. I'm sorry, Zane, who's in second place. As, or is that Balak who's in the lead? I don't know. It could be Balak as well. No, it is Darius. No, it is Balak, I beg your pardon. Darius has had a disaster start. There's a spin in the back. Who is that? It's the Red Bull of the GAFA. He has spun. And he is way off the back. It's a nightmare start for Darius. It's a nightmare start for the GAFA. But it's a dream start for Balak. He's up in the first place. He's gotten away cleanly. There's yellow flags in Sector 2. As it's Dwerg who's now had a spin here in the back in the Aston Martin. Oh boy. I might have called you Gary, by the way. I might have called you Gary. That's my bad, Grayson. So, as Balak sets the fastest lap here to start with a 1:14.1 DRS enabled. But it is Tudor who's actually over. Oh no, it still should be Balak in the lead here. Tudor, it's Karnaku who's behind, by the way. And I think Dwerg, has he lost his front wing? What's going on with Dwerg? He is way back there. Dwerg is miles off the pace. So what's happened here? He is, he's a minute 24 back, actually. No, I can't be right. First round jitters, I guess, for the scoreboard as well. But it's Balak Sr. in the lead. Karnaku second. Go Tudor is third, Johan fourth, Richie's fifth, Jack is sixth. Fizzy's dropped 2 positions off the start. That is going to be 7th for him. Zane is in 8th. Remember, he did not have a particularly great sprint qualifying. He spun after an overtake for 9th place. And he's up to 8th position. Kimmler is in 9th. Darius is in 10th. Dimitru 11th. Gaffa 12th. Dwerg is 13th. 109.7, the fastest lap. Karnaku is going to be the leader. Or the owner, I should say, of that fastest lap. It's Balak, the leader. DRS is now enabled. As Balak with the early lead. He's trying to break the DRS gap, if you will, between him and Karnaku, which is at 7/10, but it doesn't look like he's going to do it in time for the DRS zone, which is, or the detection zone, which is coming up just around this corner. As Karnaku is really on the tail. Meanwhile, back of the pack, you have got quite a DRS train, actually. It's going to be Johan, who's only 2/10 up on Richie. And scoreboard is definitely glitched there. The interval is not a minute 12, but we'll see if he's within DRS zone. It doesn't look like it's activated for him. And now he's got to defend going down into turn 1, running really wide. Is going to be Richie. But he's in, he's made it, he's given the position back. He's had to, and a little bit feisty there back in 6th place. Zane's been bumped onto the curbs by Richie. Question is Zane going to be able to hold off against this, or is he going to be able to stick this attack? And he does. Richie in 6th position. The midfield scrapping away. This has been a really intense fight. They're trying to, the Red Bull of Johan is trying to put the gap on. It is 0.6 of a second. You see the scoreboard is done glitching. So 3rd and 4th, and there is quite a gap between 4th and 3rd and 3rd and 2nd. It's now coming around again to this front straight. Johan is going to be in a lot of trouble here. The DRS on that Mercedes is going to absolutely, he's got to go to the inside. Karnaku gets the fastest lap, 109.6. But here comes the DRS. Here comes the overtake and making it stick. The Mercedes going down into turn 1. There's just no way the Red Bull can defend against that. Zane up to 4th as he is going to try and cover the gap between him and Tudor. A lot of players starting on the soft tires, mind you. I don't believe I have the tires up, no. But a lot of players looks like they do start with the soft tires. It's Johan who's actually behind Zane here, who's on the medium compound. But meanwhile, back in 10th, Fizzy, he's down yet another position. Darius with the overtake in the Alfa Romeo, gobbling up the Ferrari, going down in towards Sector 2, the start of Sector 2, and Fizzy now from 5th position on the grid. He's down into 10th. He's dropped 5 positions, and the Gaffa having a look at the inside. Maybe he's going to get a really good run. Fizzy's going to have the DRS as well. But you have to think Gaffa could be having a go. He is going to try and stick towards the inside here to try and get the pass. Is he going to make it stick is the question. No, the Ferrari pulls out in front. Still, the Red Bull does not want to quit. Down into turn 4 they go. Looking again at Fizzy, but the defending from Fizzy very good. Now maybe going for the inside line, and it does. It is going to be Gaffa who gets the overtake and 10th place. Fizzy down 6 positions now. It's a long race to go, mind you, but it's not been a great start for Fizzy. Well, Darius here, the Alfa Romeo not done. And once more, one Red Bull behind it, one Red Bull in front that is applying a lot of pressure to for 8th position. Johan. As he's going to come around the turn onto the straight. DRS is open. Johan, it looks like Johan was a little bit late on his, but Darius, again, that DRS train, they talked about, the drivers we interviewed yesterday, Tudor, Fizzy, they talked about how hard it is to break this DRS train, to overtake other cars within that train. That is proof right there. Darius having to go down towards turn 4, trying to get close. He's maybe starting to think about the inside, but there's not enough track there. He's just going to remain very close. Meanwhile, back up in the lead, mind you, Balak is really closing in on Karnaku. This gap, mind you, just 2 laps ago was about 5/6 of a second. It's back up in that second sector to that. So Karnaku with the pace in the middle sector, but not with DRS. Karnaku is going to have to do a lot of good defending. But honestly, if he has continuously good middle sectors like he is, be able to pull away from Balak here. DRS open, Balak going down the straight. It's a long straight here in Interlagos, but just not enough track to catch up to Balak. Meanwhile, Zane is overtaking Tudor for the 3rd position. There's overtakes all over the place. Fizzy's in the pits. Fizzy is pitting. Fizzy has decided to come in. Now, what is going to be the play here? He's going early onto the intermediate. Oh, he's changing the front wing. It's a front wing issue for Fizzy, and he is out of the pits. Meanwhile, Johan with a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Darius has managed to land the overtake, and Johan's seen a 3-second time penalty in trying to defend the position. That's a disaster for Johan so early in the race to take a penalty like that. That is not where you want to be. Meanwhile, up front, Balak with a much better middle sector. He is not 7/10 off the lead here. He's only 5. He's going to pop that DRS wing wide open. And here they come flying down the front straight here. The battle for the lead of the race. Can Balak get close enough? He's having a stiff at the inside, but there's not enough track. And so we'll have to wait towards the run down to turn 4. He hits that second DRS zone, the detection zone. The wing's wide open now. 2/10. Here he comes on the inside. Can he make it land? Karnaku is helpless to defend against this, and it is going to be the Ferrari of Ballack that takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Well, back at the back, Gaffa with his teammate fighting the other Red Bull. He's forced Johan off the track a bit. And Gaffa up in the 9th position after that move. Nicely done from Gaffa. The thing is, Ballack, now we talked about the middle sector, how good it was for Karnaku. But Ballack has been putting on a clinic the last 2 laps. He's got the gap up to about 0.6 of a second. Karnaku's going to have the DRS coming into the turn 1. But there's not going to be enough road. He's going to get awfully close, but the chicane de Senna is going to have to be managed first by Karnaku before he has another go with the DRS. Still the gap, 0.5 of a second. Going down into turn 4. And now if Ballack can put together another middle sector like he has in the previous laps, he might be in a good position to break this DRS train, or this DRS hold from Karnaku. Still Karnaku with the Mercedes. That's a very strong car. And we'll see if he can do just that. Still 0.5 is going to be the gap. This is a very technical second sector. Karnaku has stayed right pinned to that gearbox of the Ferrari. These 2 miles ahead, there's a yellow flag in sector 2. Oh no, there's a spin. It looks like it's Dimitru. Somebody spun. Dimitru's down to 10th place. Dwerg has overtaken him. A mistake from the McLaren driver, and it's given 10th place over to Dwerg. Oh, running wide is Dimitru as well. He's not going to get the overtake down into turn 1. So 11 laps in, it is Ballack Sr. in the Ferrari with the lead. Karnaku second, Zane is third, Tudor fourth, Richie 5th, Jack 6th, Kimmler is in 7th. He's having a bit of a quiet race, staying within the pack, that middle pack here. Gaffa 3.7 off the back of him though. Darius in 9th, Dwerg is 10th, Dimitru is 11th, Johan is 12.8 seconds back with a 3-second time penalty, and Fizimon is 6.7 off after an early pit stop. He's really done well to cut that time down on the medium compound tires. Deciding against the hards. Very slow tire here in Brazil, but tends to be a track that will eat the tires up quite a bit. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at the middle of the pack here. They're coming flying around into turn 4. See, the Alpine makes it defensive on the inside, and Richie overtaking his teammate going down into turn 4. Richie up into 4th position now as he's overtaken his teammate in Tudor, but he is 1.1 adrift of Zane, who is himself 4.3 back. Hope you've been enjoying this so far. It's the preseason race for AOR Season 22 here in Brazil. The league start next weekend. So definitely looking forward to it. We'll be on the mic with Fizimon for the EU League, and might have a partner for some of the races for the Americas League as well. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the rest of how this shapes up. It is going to be Tudor in the pits. He's going to dive in here. He's had enough. 12 laps on the soft tires is enough. He's going to have a front wing change as well. Nice glitch, Codemasters. It's all good. He's got the front wing change. It's a very slow pit stop. He's going to come out in 11th position. As Johan actually sets the fastest lap at a 109.6. He's actually going to come out 12th. I beg your pardon. So, 12th position for Tudor. After the change of front wing. Up at the front, it is still Ballack leading the way. Karnaku second place. But Ferrari's done well to keep this lead. He hasn't been able to really break away from the Mercedes. And now Karnaku very close. He's going to have a go. He goes to the outside. He goes to the inside. It's the switchback, and it's first place again. The switchback in the standings as Karnaku will come away with the lead of the Grand Prix. Down to turn 4 they go. It is Ballack's turn with the DRS, but just not close enough. And Karnaku will hold on to it after overtaking on the main straight. Richie in 4th has been unable to close this gap to Zane to get within DRS. He's only 0.3 of a second off of that, but it is ever widening. Of course, Johan is 10 back of Dimitri with a 3-second time penalty. Goat and Tudor is only 3.1 back of him. Fizzy 5 seconds off the back at the bottom of the leaderboard. As we move into this middle part, 2 people have already pitted, Tudor and Fizzy. When does the rest of the field want to come in for their pit stops? That's the question. Karnaku in the lead. He's starting to put a big gap between him and Senior, actually. It's up to 3/4 of a second now. Can he increase the gap to a second is the question. Can he use this middle sector to get ahead of Ballack? Meanwhile, Kimmler having a really tight race here. The Williams looking at that Aston Martin. Not enough road there going into Sector 2. But very close to the gearbox of Jack. As Dimitri's picked up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That is not going to help him. It's not going to do too much damage right now. Johan is 10.3 out the back. A long way to go in this race as we are on lap 15. Kimmler very close. This is the closest battle on the racetrack right now. And he is going to pop that DRS wing wide open here. The question is, can he get a move done on the Aston Martin? He's in the slipstream. And he is going to, he's looking all over. The weaving from the Aston Martin is going to keep the Williams behind him. I don't know if that was more than one move, but it certainly was a very frantic defense. Gaffa, meanwhile, has been overtaken by Darius. So Ferrari up yet again. Oh no, the Williams has spun. Oh, that's a disaster for Kimmler. Oh, and he spun trying to get the car back on the racetrack. Kimmler here, he's retired. Kimmler has retired from the session, out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately. As will that prompt the safety car? We don't know. But Kimmler and the Williams has retired. The only Williams driver in this Grand Prix. As Karnaku still holding on to this lead from Ballack at the front of the pack. Despite the fighting the drivers have done, it hasn't been every lap, mind you. Despite the fighting that these two drivers have done, they've put a 6-second gap between themselves and Richie, who was 6.3 back. Jack could be having a look here. He's getting awfully close, that Aston Martin. He's getting very, very close. And it could be a run up into turn 1 for him. Aston Martin got to stay close to the Alpine, one of two on this track. Is he going to get the, oh no, Fizzy's taking a 3-second time. It's gone from bad to worse for Fizzy. It's so unfortunate. Caught up in the turn 1 mess, and now down in the 12th position with a 3-second time penalty. DRS open for the Aston Martin, but 5/10 off of the Alpine. And so she's not under too much pressure just yet. We'll have another go after the chicane. Down into turn 4. Very late on the DRS, and it's not going to give him the position to come away with the overtake. As we look at Dwerg, the AlphaTauri, who wants to, is looking at Dimitri, who's up in 8th place. He has a 3-second time penalty, mind you, but he wants to get past this McLaren. There's a gap between Dimitri and 7th, and Darius is widening here. 4 seconds, the gap. Not quite. He's got to keep it close in this middle sector, really. We've seen that gaps of about 5/6 of a second are not enough on the run down to turn 1. Meanwhile, speaking of turn 1, Karnaku and Balak are going back down into turn 4. Balak's going to have DRS. The wings immediately open. He's having a look at the inside, and there's nothing Karnaku can do. Balak back in the lead of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Richie, Jack has overtaken Richie. And Richie's got to keep it close if he wants to have another go back at Jack. Sector 2, a very technical sector. Your bread and butter is made in this sector, really. It's all about that exit from the penultimate corner. It makes up so much of a difference here in Brazil. Alpine losing a little bit of time here to Jack in front, but he's going to have the DRS at him at turn 1. Balak in the lead has set the fastest lap at a 109.5. And Karnaku cannot get close. That DRS is not doing enough. Johan with another 3-second time penalty. Let's put Tudor in play for some points. Remember, this is just a preseason race, final tune-up out of the start of the season 22 of the F1 leagues next weekend here for Apex Online Racing. As you see, Richie trying to stay close, but the bigger problem is at the front. Karnaku is falling away here, 8/10 back. Alex got to put the pressure on to widen this gap. It was at 1.1 seconds earlier in the lap, but it looks like Karnaku has gained the difference, actually. A really bad lap from Balak. Might be the start of the tires going away. He's going into the pits. The leader's in the pits. Balak is in the pits. We'll see what position he comes out of. And no front wing needed for him, thankfully. Oh, he's going on the hards. So from the soft to the hard compound tires, he might be trying to make this a one-stop race. They're all going by. He should come out in, I want to say 9th is the place he'll come out of. Yes. And he's back on the track. So 9th after the pit stop, it gives Karnaku the lead in this race. He's on the softs though. He is 21 laps. Those tires are 21 laps old, so these softs have not got to be lasting much longer here. It should be time for a pit stop soon for much of the field that started on the soft. We'll see if Karnaku responds by coming into the pits immediately. He's not going to. He's going to continue pushing on the softs. And so Karnaku continuing to push. Meanwhile, back in 8th place. Oh, it's a double pit stop. Darius and Zane are going into the pits here. It's going to give Dwerg a look. Going down into turn 4, actually. He might have a really good run. He's a little bit late to open the DRS wing, and that is going to cost him. He's not going to get as much, he's not going to make up as much track as he wanted. Meanwhile, Darius coming out of the pits now. He's got Fizzy right behind him. Fizzy plowing through the chicane right now. But it is going to be 10th for Darius, or 11th for Darius, 10th for Zane coming out of the pits. So you can see most people have pitted. And now we'll see if Richie can do anything. He's got DRS on Jack, who has had a very good race. Also started on the softs where was Jack. And he's trying to make up the time to Karnaku. It was 8.2 up the road. Balak, meanwhile, he's had the overtake. Oh, there's a spin. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. And I think it's Dwerg who's had a spin. Dwerg has had a spin. He's recovered well. He hasn't really lost much. He's lost one position to Balak. Dimitri's up in 5th place now, by the way. And now Zane with an overtake elsewhere on the track. On Tudor to get up into 9th place. Why so bright? What do you mean? But hello, Robert. It is Kimmler, the only DNF so far. Izzy in last place. He was in 5th place at the grid. Now he's at the bottom here, 4.2. But he is gaining. That gap was about 6-7 seconds. And now he is gaining only 4.3 back. Red Bull here. Dwerg in the pits, diving in. That's going to give Johan 7th place. Let's go in towards this pit stop for Dwerg as Zane sets the fastest lap, 108.6. More softs, so another stint on the softs for Dwerg. And he'll come out in the pits in last place. A few seconds back from Fizzymon, who has a 3-second time penalty. You can see there it is, Jack, 9.6 off the leader. Balak, who was the really kind of the race leader before pitting. About 18.9 off the back now. So Karnaku, should he pit, is probably coming out behind Balak, as the fastest lap is Zane currently at a 108.6. So 25 laps are, well, 24 are in the books, as it is Karnaku in the lead. Jack 2nd, Richie is 3rd. Gaffa 4th, Dimitri 5th, Balak 6th, Johan 7th, Zane 8th, Tudor 9th, Darius 10th, Fizzy is 11th, Dwerg is 12th, and Kimmler at the bottom on the DNF. Most cars have completed their first pit stop. The big question at the front is, when is Karnaku going to? He is on tires that are 25 laps old. When is he going to have to come in for the pits? Because he is losing time to Balak ever so slightly. And there is Jack. Jack is coming into the pits. Aston Martin getting ready for him. And he's going onto the medium compound tire. So Jack goes on to the mediums. As he 7th and 8th will pass him by. He should come out in 10th. 9th is probably going to just skip by him. He's going to be fighting for track position and he come out of the pits, isn't he? No, he's going to come out right ahead of 9th. Good pit stop for Jack to come out in 8th place after riding around in 2nd. That puts Richie up into 2nd behind our leader, Karnaku, who was 10.2 up the road. Dimitru, Johan, Fizzy with time penalties. Dimitru and Fizzy have 3 seconds. Johan with 6. As Zane wants to close the gap in on Johan, as he's looking to do just that. Remember, I believe Zane has taken a second set of, yeah, he's on the second set of softs, so he's going to have the DRS on Johan. He's looking to climb positions. He's got to overtake him. He needs to cut the gap down to Dimitru, who does have the 3-second time penalty. DRS is open, and Zane's going to get right up on that rear of the Red Bull going down into turn 4. There is DRS open again, and the Mercedes he's getting a little bit close to the rear of the Red Bull, but not enough track to overtake just yet. Using the slipstream down into the start of Sector 2, and really, this Mercedes all over the back of Johan. Robert, it's on the default brightness, mate. I don't know what else to say. I haven't changed the brightness of the game at all. Zane is all over the back of this Red Bull. Now you got to think Johan's not going to have much to defend here. Richie's dived into the pits. We'll bit more on that later. Meanwhile, this battle as Mercedes goes onto the outside, and there is nothing Johan can do to defend against this move. The Mercedes gets the overtake. Zane's up to 5th with the pit stop of Richie. The Red Bull, meanwhile, wants to have another go back at him coming down into turn 4. DRS is open, but it is a much shorter straight, and there is no way that there's just not enough track. Johan on those softs, starting to lose grip. Richie's gone onto the pits, and he's come out on another set of the soft compound tires. So Richie on the softs. In the meanwhile, at the back, Dwerg has closed the gap to Fizzy. And he's within DRS range. That AlphaTauri do the work here in this middle stint. Of course, he is on the softs, whereas Fizzy has gone with the mediums for his middle stint. And Dwerg's going to be all over the gearbox here. He's having a look on the outside. He wants to go on the outside here. There's not enough track. Fizzy's got to defend there, just by taking the racing line. Dimitru's dove into the pits. He's now in the McLaren. Comes in. And the AlphaTauri on the outside going down into turn 1. Fizzy cannot defend against the DRS. And it'll be 11th for Dwerg, who takes position away from Fizzy. Now, Dimitru is going to come out right in front. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Going down into turn 4, the McLaren's right in front. AlphaTauri going up to Sector 2. Dimitru's not going to be able to defend against this position going down around to turn 1, mind you. Where the action is on the track. Richie on Jack is where is the other action. Keeping an eye on that one, as Richie has actually made the overtake on Jack. But meanwhile, here we go, coming up into the turn. The McLaren's got a little bit of space. Does the AlphaTauri have the speed with DRS? Fizzy's off the back. I don't think Fizzy's got DRS going down the straight. So AlphaTauri is pulled away. Dwerg, not enough track to get this 10th position off of Dimitru. As DRS open once again on the run down to turn 4, but still not close enough. And the McLaren will hold on to the lead, or hold on to, I should say, the 10th place that he's got after coming out of the pits. Remember, 3-second time penalty for him. Johann's got 6. He's up in 5th position right now. P5. Balak's made his way back to 3rd after the pit stops. It is only the Gaffa. As Fizzy's taken another 6-second time penalty. And Fizzy, not been a great race for him. He is losing time left, right, and center to Dwerg. Dimitru actually lands the fastest lap at 1:08.1. That's incredibly fast. I think Fizzy might have some body damage, maybe something along. Dwerg with a 3-second time penalty, though. Now they're coming thick and fast. Six seconds for Johann, 3 seconds for Dwerg, 6 seconds for Fizzy, 3 for Dimitru. Or it's Dimitru. I am terrible with names, so forgive me, Dimitru. As Richie now taking a look at him in 6th place, coming around the turn. This is going to be an overtake and should be a very easy one for him. The Alpine dives on the inside, and he is around the Red Bull of Johann. Jack is up into 6th because Gaffa has finally pitted. And Karnaku's in the pits. Karnaku has come into the pits, and he's put the medium compound tires on. And he has come out behind Zane on these softs. So he's got to get around Zane. 4 seconds, the gap between Zane and Balak. Soft compound tires on the other McLaren in front of him. Is he going to have the run down into turn 3? He's got to stay within a second here. He's just 8/10 back. And it looks like he is going to get the run and the DRS. As the McLarens go around the final turn, around the final curve, onto the front straight. Karnaku's going to get awfully close, but I don't think there's enough in this straight for him. And he won't going down into the chicane de Senna. Karnaku again with the DRS open, but again not close enough to attempt an overtake. Zane retains his position in front. Go, 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 Richie, says Jasper. He's only 2.6 back, and Tudor now with a 3-second time penalty. Half the field with penalties practically. Karnaku, 6/10 back. He's gonna have another go coming in towards this front straight. DRS is gonna be open. There it is, it pops open. Is he going to be able to make a move going down into turn 1? He's not in the slipstream, just all the way down. And he gets really close, but still not enough track there. Now through the chicane, Karnaku going to have a second chance on the run down to turn 4. Can he get this to his teammate in Zane? Does not look like he's going to be close enough. Meanwhile, back here in 8th place, Dimitru He's going to have a look at the inside of the Alpine, and Tudor is past. He's landed it. Going into turn 4. Now he's got the whole middle sector to try and break up any DRS that Tudor's going to get off of him. He's got to put the distance between them. He looks to be quicker in the middle sector. He is on the soft compound tire. And he has done just that. Tudor is just over a second behind. And Dimitriou now with a chance to try and reel in Jack, reel in Johan, as he's broken the DRS train of Tudor. And he is free to have a go at the Aston Martin in front of him. He's got to cut the gap down. That's cool, Robert. Darius. Three-tenths of a second back from Gaffa. The Alfa Romeo trying to make a move on the Red Bull here. Up and towards Sector 2. As he's got to keep it close to Gaffa here. Dwerg is right behind that Alfa Romeo. As Jack also trying to stay close to Johan here with the DRS open going down towards turn 1. Let's see if the Alfa Romeo can make the overtake here. Gaffa trying to stay within Tudor's range, but Tudor's putting a lot of space between him and Gaffa in that middle sector and to the third sector. Oh, the Alfa Romeo runs wide, and Darius here. Dwerg in that AlphaTauri behind him, giving him a little bit of trouble, but it is still 10th for Darius. Meanwhile, Jack has made the move on the Red Bull of Johan up into 5th place. And the important thing too is Karnaku and Zane are gaining on the leader. Balak only 1.1 seconds ahead. Karnaku still 6/10 back of his teammate. As Darius might be having a look here. He's awfully close to the gearbox of this Alpine. He's given a lot of pressure to Tudor here, who does have the time penalty, mind you. Still a long way to go in this race. Half of the laps complete. As Darius, that wing is open. He's going for the look down into turn 1. The LP runs very wide there, and it's just very hard to break that DRS train again. Darius will remain in 10th place. Another DRS zone for him, trying to use the slipstream of that Alpine, but just too much distance. Meanwhile, back in front, Zane has caught up to Balak. We mentioned a few laps ago that gap was 1.1 seconds. It is now 3/10. Balak has been pulled in by Zane, and with him is Karnaku. Balak was the effective race leader when the pit stop started, and he has remained out after Karnaku's pit stop. And Karnaku could not push the lead on old softs any further. And now Balak here, trying on the outside, and he has been overtaken by Zane. The Mercedes, I beg your pardon. Oh, and it's given Balak a 3-second time penalty as well. That is a disaster for Balak to have taken a penalty after trying to defend. That's opened things right up for both Zane and Karnaku now. Dwerg is back in the pits. And he will come out well behind Fizzy. as Darius now in 10th, might be trying to really build the advantage. We'll go back to this battle in a minute because you've got Karnaku, you've got Balak in the front fighting for lead on the track. Richie can just not stay close enough to get DRS. He is 1.1 seconds back, but he is having a look. Meanwhile, Dimitriou makes the overtake on Jack, so Jack back down into 6th position. And now here comes Darius. He wants to have a go. He's looking toward the outside, but the Alpine defends brilliantly. Tudor is not letting him by. And here goes again down into the run of turn 4, but Tudor is just too strong, and he'll hold on to 10th position for now. Back in towards the top 3. Richie is right behind these 3. He's trying to pull within DRS range, trying to pull close. But the important thing too is that Zane has almost put a second between him and Balak to try and pull ahead in front. Balak's just staying within DRS zone, within DRS range. As the Mercedes goes down the straight, Richie has DRS as well off the back. This is now a 4-player battle for the lead. Granted, Balak does have the 3-second time penalty. But a 4-player battle for the lead, really, all within a second of each other. As Darius has finally gotten the overtake on Tudor elsewhere on track. Up in the 9th place is Darius. Is Karnaku going to be able to make the pass on Balak here? Balak's going to have the DRS. Zane has not been able to pull away like he did in the previous lap. He stays within a second. The interval much smaller this time around by 0.3, mind you. And Richie's right on the heels of Karnaku as well on the soft compound tire. DRS train opens, Zane stays in front. As these 4 go around the chicane de Senna and down in turns towards turn 4. Balak going to remain in 2nd place, Karnaku right behind him. As it is Johan in the pits. Johan in the pits. And what tire has he put on is the question. And he's going for the softs. Johan on the soft compound tire. As he'll rejoin in 11th place. Tudor not happy that he gave up that position to Darius in the Alfa Romeo. It was worth 9th at the time. The pit stop of Johan has bumped them up to 8th, and Tudor is going to want this position back. 8th position on the line here. Granted, Tudor does have the time penalty, mind you. And it's going to be Zane in the pits. The race leader is in the pits, and that has given Balak the race lead back. The medium compound tire now for Zane. That should be able to get him to the end of the race. And he is going to come out, looks like, in 9th position. We're back into lead now, though. Karnaku pressuring Balak. This is for the actual lead now. Show tire age. I don't know how to make. There you go. Detail, that's it. So tire age, the leader 20 laps old, but they're on the hards. Tudor's on 28 with the medium, and Fizzy's on 33 with the soft, mind you. So there you have it. Johan on the softs. Sorry, Vasilius, I forgot for a second how to do it. It's only my second race. Oh, it's a three-way run down to turn one for the lead. Karnaku trying to make it stick. And he has gotten by Balak. Now the Alpine wants to have a go down into turn four. They are side by side. And the Alpine, using that slipstream behind Karnaku, has made it stick. And it is going to be Karnaku in the lead. Richie has gotten second place, as Balak is back into third. Dimitriou is in fourth after everything that's going on. Jack is fifth. Gaffa sixth. Darius is in seventh. Go Tudor is in eighth. Zane ninth. Fizzy 10th. Johan is in 11th. And Dwerg is in 12th. Kimmler, the DNF. There's your position changes, by the way. Dimitriou is 6th. Johan down 8 positions. Everyone making one stop. Zane, Johan, and Dwerg have made 2. And there are your penalties. Fizzy and Johan have 6. Everybody else that is marked for 1 with 3. Karnaku is the race leader. Richie has made, he's come into this race more and more though. Fizzyman, meanwhile, in a battle with Johan for 10th place. The Ferrari dives on the inside after Johan aggressively moved there, but just didn't cut off enough track. Fizzy trying to make it stick. They're running a little bit wide. They come around the corner. Fizzy trying to hold on to this overtake. But the inside line's now with the Red Bull, and it is going to be Fizzy to make it stick. He's moved into 10th position off the back of that overtake. So nicely done from him. Moving up in towards the battle for 7th position. Zane, 0.3 of a second back. He's going to have the DRS going down into turn 1. The Alfa Romeo, Darius. He's not going to have much help to defend this incoming overtake. To the outside goes Zane, and the Mercedes has got all the track in the world to land that overtake. And he does so. Seventh place for Zane. As he will make it around the DRS zone on the second straight in turn 4. On that medium compound tire, he is doing quite well. Trying to put the gap between him and Darius now. Back up in the lead. Richie and Karnaku separated by just 0.6. It's been a mighty scrap up here for the race lead. And it's the Alpine trying to get very close. He's right on the rear of that Mercedes of Karnaku. And he set himself up for a really good move. Fizzy with another 3-second time penalty. This race is all but effectively over now. But the Alpine and Richie has made the move stick on the outside, and it is Richie back in the lead of the Grand Prix. Tudor's dove into the pits. In the meantime, what tire is he going to be coming out of? Looks like he's going on the softs. He has. He's coming out in 12th position. There's going to be quite a good gap between him and Dwerg as well to make up by that pit stop. That is his second stop of the afternoon. Darius and everyone above Zane only on 1 stop. You can see the tires are getting a little bit old for much of these runners. Richie has got to put these softs to good use. You see 17 laps there, and he's trying to get a second interval on Karnaku, who is going to have the DRS. But there's a lot of space between him and Richie. He's not going to be close enough for an overtake. He's 37 laps on the medium compound tire for Fizzy. Those tires are pretty much close to screaming at him now. He's the only one with 9 seconds of penalty. 6 for Johan. Everybody else with 3. And so it is going to be Richie who pushes these soft compound tires out to a second lead. Karnaku trying to stay close, but the soft's too good. Can he do it? He's got to keep these. It's down back again to 9/10 of a second. Fizzy's coming to the pits. He is in. He is diving in for his 3rd stop. It is going to be soft compound tires for Fizzy. Meanwhile, back up into the lead. Can he get the, he just cannot seem to get the interval above a second. Oh, we might have just going across the DRS detection zone. Karnaku's got DRS open. But maybe one of the last laps he gets it if Richie can stay with this pace that he's shown. DRS again, but again not close. And it's Richie to solidify his lead now. That opens the door for Senior for 2nd place. He's got the time penalty, mind you. Tudor with the fastest lap, a 1:08 flat. As Karnaku again starting to ask the question if he can get close for this DRS. It looks like he's trying very hard to. As he will not have DRS open though. And Ballack behind him will not either. So the gap's starting to widen here between these two. Between the top 3. Into 11th place, it's going to be Tudor who is fighting for position. Jack's in the pits though. Jack is in the pits. He's coming off the mediums and back on the soft compound tire. Let's go back to this battle for 10th place. DRS open as Richie's gotten a time penalty in the lead. That's not good. That opens the door. Karnaku is in a very strong position to win this race now. He just has to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. Tudor in 10th. Dwerg pressuring from behind. Not enough track for the AlphaTauri. And so it'll be 10th for Tudor. 1.3 back. He's got to close the gap to Jack. He wants to take this 9th position away from him. As Richie comes into the pits now. And so does Dimitriou. Richie in the pits. Ballack is 1.5 back and with a time penalty. It's medium compound tires with 21 laps left. As Dimitri is also, is he going to be on softs? I think he's on softs, and he has indeed gone for the softs. More pits coming in, or more, I should say, lead changes coming in from the pits. But Karnaku leads, 3-second penalty on Ballack, plus the 1.6 interval has given Karnaku a comfortable 4+ second lead, all things considered. Ballack is in 2nd, Gaffa in 3rd, 12.4 back. Zane is 4th, Richie 5th with a time penalty himself. Darius in 6th, Dimitri is in 7th, Johan 8th. Both of them have time penalties. Jack is in 9th, 7.1 seconds back. Tudor is 10th, Dwerg 11th, Fizzy is in 12th. Let's go over some of the details. Oh, there's a spin in Sector 2, is there? And it's Dwerg. Dwerg has had a spin in Sector 2. He is recovered, and he is far enough ahead. He hasn't lost any positions, but it is a spin in Sector 2 for him. That caused a temporary yellow flag. So you can see Zane up 7 positions. Fizzy's lost 7. Tudor's lost 5, but we have Three leaders at the front who have yet to make a pit stop. Darius has come in for his second pit stop. He's going on the soft compound tire to run this out to the end. Balak on the hards. He's the only driver that has chosen the hard compound of tire here. It means that Karnaku on those mediums is really going to help keep the gap in front. Granted, Balak does have the 3-second time penalty. The more important thing is he's going to have to be careful. Gaffa has not pitted a second time, but Zane has, and so has Richie. They're going to be on fresher mediums going into the final stage of this 100% race here. As we watch Richie with DRS having a go at Zane. Dimitri lands the first 107 of the afternoon with a 107.6 and the fastest lap. As he gets awfully close to that Mercedes and Zane. 52 laps. It is lap 52, 20 to go. Karnaku leads. Senior is in second. Gaffa third, yet to pit a second time. Zane is in fourth. Richie fifth. Dimitri is in sixth. Johan seventh. Jack is down in eighth. Tudor ninth. Darius is in 10th. Dwerg is in 11th. And Fizzy is in 12th. We've had one DNF. That is Kimmler. DNF within the opening 15 laps of the race. As we move into the final 20 here. Karnaku has the lead. Balak behind him on the hard compound tires, but Karnaku's not been able to really get a solid gap built despite being on the quicker tire. Dimitri again with the fastest lap, 107.6. And that's without DRS, mind you, which the two drivers in front of him do have. In Zane and Richie. Zane now, let's go on board with let's follow the Mercedes for a little bit. In fact, let us go on board. As he's getting really close to the Gaffa here. Who's had a great race himself. He's kept it pretty clean. He needs to pit a second time here. He still has yet to pit for a second time. So you can see awfully close. He's going to have the rundown into turn number one. They come around this penultimate corner, really. And DRS open. He's going to take the move to the outside. The Red Bull runs him pretty wide, but he gets it before DRS is even popped. And, oh, it looks like he's been hit by Richie. Did Richie bump him? I think Richie's given him a bit of a bump to retain third place. And now that's opened the door for the Gaffa, who goes all the way to the outside. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and I think it's Balak. I think it's Balak who spun. Balak is spun in sector 2. Remember, he has a 3-second time penalty. Could potentially open a door for the Gaffa. Meanwhile, three-way battle back on this for fourth. It is Zane down the inside of the Gaffa here towards the penultimate corner. That is a brilliant overtake and a part of the track that you rarely see it. And he is going to come flying up. Turn one. They do have DRS on him, though. He has to be careful. The Red Bull could go back for the overtake. It looks like he is going to go back for the overtake on the outside. Can the Mercedes get back at it? No. Oh, he's lost the rear a bit. He's gotten a little loose. And now that's given the McLaren something to sniff at here. Down into turn 4, right behind him. He knows that DRS is behind him with the Mercedes. He goes for a late charge on the outside, and that's a brilliant overtake from Dimitri up into fourth for the McLaren. Balak has come into the pits, and he is going to rejoin. There's a yellow flag. Oh no, Dimitri's retired. Dimitri has retired from the session. He is off. A good race but Dimitri is out. You can see him off. Did he slam into? I did not catch what happened. Trying to see if he slammed in. Fizzy's just going to grab another time penalty, but a second DNF as Dimitri's off in Sector 2. That's so unfortunate for him. And now here's an overtake for third. It is Zane in the Mercedes that gets it done. Going down into turn 1. He's up on a podium. He's one of the few cars not to have a penalty. And with Richie 15 seconds ahead, or I'm sorry, 3.6 ahead, he could try and fight for the podium. The Red Bulls re-overtake him though. Gaffa back up in the third. A very ferocious fight for this final podium spot between these two. And Richie has just 3 seconds of time penalty. So you see the gap is 3.9. The fighting for third place is going to invite Richie into this podium positions, given he's already stopped twice. The Gaffa hasn't. He needs to stop again, and so does our race leader, who's on 23 lap old mediums here. Is he going to try to nurse the mediums to the end? That'd be a daunting task. Unlucky for Dimitri. He was having a great race, but he's out of the Grand Prix with Kimmler. That will promote Dwerg to the points because of Fizzy's 12 seconds of time penalties. Gaffa wants to have a go at this Mercedes. This is for the final podium spot. Remember, Zane has not stopped a second time. He's still on the medium compound tires. He's going to have another look on the outside. Ballack with a 107.4 on those fresh softs. It's the fastest lap. But it's the Red Bull that makes it stick. The Alpine. Oh no! The Aston Martin spun. The Aston Martin has spun. Fizzy is out. Was it Fizzy that spun? It looked like the Aston Martin. But Fizzy has retired. It's a safety car as well. Late drama. Dimitri's so unlucky, mate. Let us know what happened. Did you spin and hit the wall? Did the engine go? What happened, mate? But Karnaku's going to use the safety car to pit. Fresh softs for the race leader, who would love to come out ahead of. Oh, they're all pitting behind him. So he's going to retain the lead on fresh softs. Everyone going over to fresh softs. Ballack has stayed out. He's going to jump all these positions, but he will not jump the race leader, and he will not jump Richie. Karnaku has caught the safety car. Dwerg with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's on top of his previous penalty, mind you, of 3 seconds for exceeding track limits. He is going to be planted down in 10th place now. And all of a sudden, who does this safety car really benefit? It benefits Gaffa. It benefits Darius. He's got Richie and Ballack in front of him. They're on 3-second time penalties. Curb killer, just a bit more throttle. Weird spin, to honest, it shouldn't happen. Well, we know about bumps and curbs and interlagos, mate. They are a nightmare. It's unfortunate. You are having a great race. That is so unfortunate for you, Dimitri. But it is preseason. There's a lot to look forward to. You can hang your head high on knowing you had a good pace. You showed good pace on a lot of those laps. So there's definitely positives to take away from the race as well. And can't wait to see how you do in the upcoming season for sure. Safety car deployed. And there's someone in the pits. And I believe it's Darius who's gone into the pits. Why is Darius going into the pits? There is no need for Darius to go into pits, because the cars around him have gotten a 3-second time penalty. This is really opened the door now for Gaffa. Gaffa's in 4th place. The field's bunching up. He's got 2 cars ahead of him with a time penalty. He's got fresh mediums. Karnaku's really shown amazing pace so far this race, really. It's going to be hard to get into a position to try and overtake Karnaku. But Gaffa could be on for a second place here. He could be on for a podium position, all things considered. Jack as well, who hasn't looked anywhere towards the front of the pack, but is quietly at a very solid race. You can see he's up 2 positions, and he's kept it clean as well. He could be on for a podium as well, all things considered. Ballack on the oldest softs. That is 3 laps of soft tires. But safety car will be in this lap, and it's going to be up to Karnaku to lead this field in Sector 3. All the cars have to stay behind him. You can see them trying to warm the tires, getting ready for the rundown. When is it going to come is the question. When is Karnaku going to juice it? And it looks like he hasn't quite gotten on the pedal yet. Is he going to? There he is. He's powered down. It's a great start for Karnaku. Richie is right behind. The Red Bulls are right on the tail. We're back to clean flag racing here in Interlagos. The AlphaTauri runs a little wide there. Twerg, he's overtaken by Darius in the back. Sector 1, there's a spin, and it is Twerg who's spun. He's off onto the grass. That's the reason for the yellow flag. Karnaku, he's now got a 3-second time penalty. He's kept it clean the whole race, but he's got a 3-second time penalty now. Gaffa, all of a sudden the door's open. If he can keep it clean, if he can keep it within these 3 seconds of the leader, he will be in with a win. There was Tudor running a little bit wide, it looked like. Or it might have been Johan. It was one of the Red Bulls, I thought, that ran a little bit wide. Could have been Johan, who's got 6 seconds of time penalties, mind you. There's a spin. It's the Alfa Romeo. Darius just has a spin there right on your screen. Zane will overtake him. I didn't see if there was contact between the two, but the yellow flag in Sector 3. And now Dwerg is up into 9th place. "11 laps to go here in this Brazilian Grand Prix. Gaffa is the only one of 3 cars without a time penalty. We've had 3 retirements as well, so everyone will finish in the points. But first, you have to finish. As the great Schumacher once said, as we get ready to start the final 10 here. Dwerg and Darius are off the back. The other one's outside of DRS zone. Karnaku's staying in front, but he's got a 3-second time penalty. Gaffa is staying awfully close. He just has to keep it clean. He's got to try to get around, I think, one of these 2 cars to try and keep within that 3 seconds of the leader, Karnaku. And that is what all the eyes on this Grand Prix are watching now, is can Gaffa pull it off? DRS has been enabled. We'll have it on the next go around here. Gaffa's kept it awfully close to this Ferrari. They have it on the run down to turn 4. Jack, in the meanwhile, he's also in contention for a podium. He's moved up into 6th position, but he's outside of a second. The Alpine wants to have another go on the inside, but there's not enough track there, and he's just going to have to slot in behind the Aston Martin. Zane as well. He could move up quite a bit. I want to say a podium's more likely, but he could move up quite a bit. Only other driver to keep it clean here, aside from Darius, who is 2.5 off the back of Twerg. Gaffa was right off the back of that Ferrari, but he's struggling now. 107.3 is the fastest for Zane down in 8th place. And we saw this, it's a repeat really of the sprint qualifying race, right? Zane had not a very good sprint qualifying race. He spun out. It was the only car to do so. He was at the back. He had to replace his front wing. He put the fresh softs on, and he started plowing away with fast laps at the end of that sprint race. He's done so here at the end of the race. Is it too little too late to get onto the podium? We don't know. But a lot is yet to be decided here as we move up towards the end of lap 63. Gaffa very close. Zane as well has shown really, really good pace in that Mercedes. He could be a difference maker as well. He wants to get up and overtake Tudor, who's really given Jack a lot of trouble here. Staying right pinned to the back, to the rear wing, to the diffuser of that Aston Martin. Jack has fallen outside the DRS range. He's not going to have it. He's not going to have it on the run down to turn 1. It looks like Zane's going to try to make the move. Or it looks like, I beg your pardon, Tudor's going to try to make the move, but he hasn't quite made it stick. DRS open again. The Mercedes is lurking in the back. The Alpine remains behind the Aston Martin. It's a hotly contested battle for second, and it's a hotly contested battle for the lead. There's a spin in Sector 2. Sector 2, there's a yellow. It looks like it's Dwerg. He has spun. Dwerg has had a massive spin, and he has decided to retire from the session with very little laps to go. Dwerg, our 4th DNF of the afternoon. He has pulled off to the side. That has given Darius 9th place, which he will more than likely finish bar any other accidents because he is 11.6 off the back. Meanwhile, Karnaku in the lead, but he's only 3/10 ahead of Richie, who's putting a lot of pressure on him. Jack is really giving a hard time to Tudor, who has overtaken him, by the way. But they're outside DRS range, and Jack has really got to push to get around Tudor and to get back close to Johan, who is in danger of falling outside DRS range of the Gaffa, who's done a good job to stay with the leaders. The race is Gaffa's to lose now, really, with the 3 penalties of the players in front of him, combining for just 1.5 seconds. Gaffa could get the win here. He's certainly on for it. As we are coming around to just 6 laps to go. Richie with the fastest, a 107.3 at the front. It's exactly what he needs, but he needs more. He needs to widen the gap. It's between him and 4th place. As long as he stays in front of Karnaku and he stays in front of Balak, he'll stay in front of them in the standings. It's all about the gap between him and 4th. 1.8 is the gap. Gaffa has to stay close. He cannot afford to let Richie run away any further than that. There are your gaps. Right now, Jackie would be on for a 4th position. Zane for 5th. Richie again with the fastest lap. Look at that. And Gaffa has gotten around the Ferrari. He has overtaken him. And Gaffa's up to 3rd. He's over a second behind Karnaku. He's got to hope that he can pull back within that second. He needs to do so. He doesn't have DRS going down into turn 4, but he stays in 3rd place, ahead of Balak with 5 laps to go. Richie in the lead, showing excellent pace. He's setting fastest lap after fastest lap. But it's all about Gaffa. No penalties. He's got to keep it clean for these final 5 laps. They come around the penultimate corner here, up on the run down to turn 1. 4 remaining now. He's 1.6 seconds back of Karnaku, who's having a go at Richie, and he gets the overtake. Karnaku back in the lead. Balak in the meantime with DRS has re-overtaken Gaffa. And now Karnaku trying to fly out in front. Look at this, 5/10 in the lead. DRS open for the Alpine of Richie to try and get close to him again, but it will be Karnaku to retain the lead here. Tudor has overtaken Johan as well for 5th. But Gaffa 2.3 back. He's got to stay. He's only got 7/10 of a buffer to stay with here. 3 seconds for everybody in front of him. As Karnaku comes around he's putting a hell of a lot of distance actually between him and Richie. Richie's got the fastest lap of 1:31, but Karnaku's got the 1:84. And he's got DRS on Richie. Balak doesn't though. Gaffa has got to get by Balak. He wants to have a look. There is Johan though on the overtake just behind. The other Red Bull back up into 5th position. Scraps all the way across the track on these final 3 laps. Richie trying to keep it close. Balak has got to try and pull some time back. Same with Gaffa. He's got to hope that he can just, as Red Bull can try and reel in Richie, who's now 1.6 up the road. The gap might not be enough. It's getting awfully close. It's 2.7 now with 3 laps to go. Gaffa has to stay close. Karnaku could effectively win this race if he could put a little bit more distance between him and Gaffa. And Gaffa's right on the cusp. They come around for the turn. 2 remaining here. Karnaku showing the pace he did it in sprint qualifying. And if he can, for just 2 more laps, he could come away with a race lead despite having a 3-second time penalty. Gaffa will finish on the podium, bar any spins. Zane as well could finish on the podium. Here comes Gaffa back up on the outside. He's got 3rd place back from Balak. And he's pulled within 2.5 now of the leader. Karnaku in front, Richie on his tail. They could be fighting over the lead. I don't know if anyone else will know who has what penalties. But Gaffa knows he doesn't have any. And he's got to keep it that way. Final 2 laps. Karnaku comes around the penultimate corner. He's back up on the straight. DRS will be open for Richie on the run down to turn 1. But he's very far back. There might not be enough track. It's the final lap of the race here. Karnaku in the lead. Gaffa has just 4/10 buffer. He's got to stay within it. Zane has taken 7th place. Or no, Jackie's taken 7th. There's a spin in turn 1, and it's Zane. Zane has had a spin in turn 1. And he is effectively going to finish in 8th place no matter what now off the back of that spin. Gaffa showing good pace. He's cut the gap to 2.4. Richie is trying to get the lead on the track. It won't be on the standings. In through to the final sector as they come around the last turn in sector 2. Trying to put the distance between him and Balak. He needs to make sure The fighting on the final lap doesn't put him outside the 3-second range. Karnaku comes around. Johan gets a penalty at the very end here, but it'll be Karnaku to cross the line first. Richie is in second, but Gaffa will stay within 3 seconds, and he effectively wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. Balak will finish in 4th, Jackie 5th, Tudor will be in 6th, Zane finishes 7th because of all the penalties from Johan, despite the spin. A fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix. What an opening, what a preseason race we had here. Zane gets driver of the day. But well done. He gives it the princess wave. It is a solid race. Really good action all up and down the track. Fantastic stuff. And so let's overlook your standings. Gaffa gets the win off all the penalties. Karnaku 2nd, Richie 3rd, Balak is in 4th, Jack gets 5th position, Tudor 6th, Zane 7th, Johan will finish 8th, Darius 9th, and then your DNFs, Dwerg in 10th, Fizzy in 11th. I'm sorry, Dwerg did finish the race. Fizzy in 11th, Dimitriou in 12th, and Kimmler at the bottom in 13th place. Fantastic race. Karnaku showed a lot of pace. So did Richie and Zane. But it's Gaffa that kept it clean in the end to win the preseason race. Fantastic stuff from all the drivers, and really a fantastic race, as it's going to be Gaffa who comes away with the win. So that's going to be it for the 100% Brazilian race. I don't think we've got anyone lined up for an interview. I'm not 100% sure. But we'll see if we can get somebody in for the interview. I want to get Gaff in here. I muted the mic, my bad. Yeah, so we hope to have you back for the start of the regular season next weekend for both the Americas and EU. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you join us next weekend. Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 8 p.m. British Summertime for the European race, and then 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the America's race. Anyway, I am Benikage. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening.